In the last video, we discussed about properties of air, and we also saw through various experiments how these properties they came into existence. Now in this video, we talk about thunderstorms and cyclones from the chapter 8 of windstorms and cyclones of grade 7th. But before we enter into thunderstorms and cyclones, let us first revise the properties of air. The first property was it exerts pressure, it takes up space, it has mass. When it is heated, it expands, while when it is cool, it is going to shrink down. And is very easily explained by the hot air balloon. Air speeds up when being forced through a narrow opening and when compressed. So your soft drinks are the best examples for it. So when it is compressed, it is going to exert a great pressure. How are wind currents generated? Now there are two reasons the way they are generated. The first one is uneven heating between the equator and the poles, and the second one is uneven heating on the land and the water. The principle for both of them is the same, and it is that warm air rises up and cool air moves down to take its place. This principle is used in both the reasons. Now, when we see the equator and the poles, all of you have studied that the earth is a sphere. It's not a perfect sphere, so it bulges at the equator. Now, when the sun rays falls on the earth, the equator gets heated up fast and the most. So the equator is extremely hot. Now, just see this first sun's ray. It is coming to the equator, the red line. Now this part is getting heated up. So the air which is over here is going to get heated up, and the wind or the air which is there near the 30-degree latitude. So this is the north latitude and the south latitude. So from here the cool air is going to gush down. So the black arrow that you see, the cool air is coming towards the equator and the warm air from the equator is rising up. This causes the wind to happen, the current to happen. The second thing happening over here is the North Pole or the South Pole. Now North Pole is a cool region. That means the cool air from the North Pole is going to take up the place of the warm air which is in this area. That is near 45 degree to 60-degree latitude. So this area is going to have warm air and the cool air from the North Pole is going to take its place. So the red arrows are showing the movement of cool air and the black arrows are showing the movement of hot air near the equator. Now when we go to the next one, the same thing is being shown over here, that near the equator the sun's ray hit nearly straight on, and that is why it's absolutely hot, while in the North Pole it is or the South Pole it is not going to hit directly, and that is why it's a cooler region. That's why we have Arctic Circle over there and Antarctic Circle over there. So there the direction of the wind is going to be little different. Now when you see the second reason, that is uneven heating of land and water. So in summer near the equator, again the heat is going to be the most, so the land is going to get heated faster than the water, and that is the air on the land is going to rise up and the wind from the ocean, that is above, the air from the ocean is going to take its place. So there will be a direction of wind will be from oceans or water body to the land, and that is how the wind will be generated, and that is how the monsoon winds from southwest are generated. During winter the opposite is going to happen. The land is going to cool down faster, so the warm air from the ocean is going to go up and the cool air from the land is going to take its place, and that happens in the northwest direction. The wind starts happening in the northwest direction, and that is why in winter also there are places where we have little rainfall. It's extremely little, not like monsoon, but there is little rainfall during the winter also. Now to conclude everything, like uneven heating of earth between the equator and the poles, between the land and the water, both these things lead to generation of wind currents. Now we understand the properties of air. Air exerts pressure. We know due to the uneven heating of earth, there is a movement of wind on the planet. So, and the movement of wind current can be in a very high proportion. Also, the speed also can be high, which is going to lead to thunderstorms. Now, thunderstorm is made up of two words. One is thunder, the other is storm. Storm, we know, is the very high movement of wind, and thunder is related to rain. So there is going to be lightning, and there is going to be the sound which is attached to the lightning, and there is going to be rain. So that is thunder. Now, in the countries where it is very hot and humid, the hot and humid tropical areas of our earth, especially India, their thunderstorms are very frequent. What happens is, due to the rising temperature, the warm air rises up. When the warm air rises up, it goes in the atmosphere above and it turns into water droplet. This water droplet, they freeze and they come down again. This movement of warm air and cool air coming down, this movement causes wind, and this wind causes low pressure, and this low pressure is resulting into lightning and sound, and this event is called the thunderstorm. Now, how a thunderstorm becomes a cyclone? So, thunderstorm is still to a less degree, but a cyclone is going to be of a more degree. And if you see, thunderstorm is across the sky, but a cyclone will have a particular shape. So, how is the cyclone forming? So, what happens is, when the water from the water vapor from the land, it takes up heat. So it is going to turn into water vapor, and that is what we have learned, that water turns into water vapor in the presence of heat. And then it rises up. So when it is rising up, again the temperature above is very cool. So water turns back to water droplet, and when it is turning back to water droplet, some amount of heat is released. Now when this heat is released, it is warming up the atmosphere. And because of the atmosphere warming up, the pressure over there drops. Now, more air, because the pressure is dropping, so more air tries to fill into that gap, and then it turns into a storm. And that is how a very low pressure system with very high speed of wind turns into a cyclone. Now, the structure of cyclone which you see over here is, this is a thundery sky. It is a cloudy sky which is having thunderstorm, which is having a lot of water vapor. Now, this will turn into a cyclone. Now, the shape of the cyclone. So, when we talk about low pressure, in the center there is going to be eye. So, this line that I have drawn is the eye of the cyclone. The eye is a calmer region. It is a very calm region, and the wind speed over there is 10 to 15 kilometer per hour. You can make this cyclone inside a bottle also and see how it moves. The speed in the center is going to be very less, because the diameter is very less over there. So the speed is around 10 to 15 kilometer per hour, and the diameter of the eye, so in the center is 10 to 15, the diameter of the eye is around 10 to 30 kilometer. And this diameter, the center is not going to have any cloud. Here there is no cloud, and very light wind will be there. Now, near to this eye, there is going to be cloud, which is around 150 kilometer in size. And here the wind speed is pretty more, this side. This one, the wind speed is going to be around 150 to 250 kilometer per hour. It's like 100 kilometer per hour increase in speed. After that, again, the wind speed gradually decreases. So this part, the wind speed is very less. The outer part, again, it is very less. Now the cyclone is getting impacted by things like wind speed, wind direction, then the temperature of that place, the humidity which contributes. So warm air, if it is more humid, it is going to create low pressure, and it is going to turn into a cyclone. This is, if you note it down under point form, center is a calm area, the eye of the storm. Eye of the storm is the center. Wind speed is 10 to 15 km per hour. The diameter of the eye varies from 10 to 30 km. Free of cloud and has light winds with eye around it. The cloud covering eye, that is 150 km in size, and it has a very high speed of wind, that is 150 to 50 km per hour. Away from this region, the wind speed gradually decreases, and factors like wind speed, direction, humidity, temperature also affects in the development of a storm. So a cyclone is a development from a thunderstorm. So winds, when they increase in speed, they turn into a thunderstorm, and thunderstorm later on turns into a cyclone if the situation are unfavorable. This is what we are talking about, the eye of the storm. So if you see, this is a very calm area. There is no wind and no cloud over here. So if you're standing in the eye of the storm, you won't even find the effect, but everything around you is moving. So everything around you is moving with very high speed. Okay, so here the speed is going to be the maximum. So this was about thunderstorm, cyclone, the formation of cyclone. Now we know that how a thunderstorm and a cyclone is formed. In the next video, we are going to talk about how is it affecting the humans, the planet, the other animals, and what can be done. How do we know it is going to be there? And if we know a cyclone is coming, then what precaution should we be taking? So all these topics will be covered in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself.